Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, police seize a vehicle involved in St. Andrew woman's abduction. The police say they have seized the vehicle involved in the abduction of Lorna Robertson, a resident of Solarfield, St. Andrew. Miss Robertson, otherwise called Nikki, a Jamaica Labour Party election scrutineer, was abducted while walking along Old Hope Road on May 30. She was approached by a man who pulled her into a black Honda step wagon that was fitted with fake license plates. The abduction was caught on CCTV. Superintendent Mark Harris, head of the St. Andrew Central Police Division, told the news that the vehicle was recovered last week. He said the police have so far questioned several people in connection with the abduction. DNA samples have also been taken from the vehicle. Superintendent Harris added that the police have no evidence linking the abduction to politics in the area. The family of Miss Robertson has offered a $500,000 reward for her safe return. Taxi operator in custody over seizure of 6 guns and ammunition. A man remains in custody as the police continue to probe the seizure of 6 firearms, 10 rounds of ammunition, and magazines. Arrested is a taxi operator of a Duhaney Park, St. Andrew address. The police report that on Friday night, investigators from the Firearms and the Narcotics Investigation Division intercepted a motor car and carried out a search which uncovered the prohibited weapons, ammunition, and the 6 magazines. The division noted that the seizure brought the total number of prohibited weapons seized within the past 3 weeks to 276. Since the start of 2025, FNID said it has seized 413 prohibited weapons, accounting for 58% of the total 713 weapons seized by the police island-wide. Trenchtown man shot in his yard. A man was injured in a gun attack while in his yard in Trenchtown this morning. The shooting happened around 410 along Columbus Road in the area. It is reported that he was in his yard when he was pounced upon by assailants who shot him and escaped. The injured man was assisted to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was admitted for treatment. The incident is being probed by the police. Portmore man charged for stabbing during fight. The police in St. Catherine have charged a man for the stabbing of a man during an altercation. Charged with wounding with intent is 41-year-old Andre Warren of East Greater Portmore in the parish. A date is to be set for Warren to appear in court. The incident happened on the night of Wednesday, May 21. The police report that the complainant was at home when he and Warren got into an argument that became physical, during which Warren pulled a knife from his waistband and used it to inflict several stab wounds all over the complainant's body. He was assisted to hospital where he was admitted in serious condition. The matter was reported to the police. Warren was apprehended and subsequently charged. Supreme Court halts removal of PNP campaign signs in St. James by Municipal Corporation. The Supreme Court has granted an injunction blocking the St. James Municipal Corporation from removing election campaign signs belonging to the opposition People's National Party representatives. The court also gave 3 prospective candidates, Dr. Andre Horton, Janice Allen, and Alan Bernard, permission to pursue a judicial review of the corporation's decision. Attorney Maurice McCurdy, who represents the candidates, said while the court granted the corporation permission to appeal, it refused the request to put the judgment on hold while the appeal is being considered. The St. James Municipal Corporation, if they remove any further posters of the applicants, it can be held in contempt of court, McCurdy said. The ruling was handed down on Monday by Senior Parish Judge Lorna Shelley Williams. Judicial review allows the court to determine whether the processes used by a public authority in arriving at a decision were fair and lawful. Horton, Allen, and Bernard filed the court action against the corporation on April 29. The corporation is represented by the law firm Bennett Cooper Smith. The dispute erupted after Richard Vernon, who is the mayor of Montego Bay and the chairman of the municipal corporation, announced in April that the municipal corporation would prohibit the display of political signage in St. James ahead of the announcement of the election date. A motion was later approved reflecting the position. The PNP candidates protested the decision and said it breached their rights as the country is already within the campaign period, citing regulations that exempt political advertisement from requiring prior municipal approval during an election cycle. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, acting in its role as the political ombudsman, wrote to Vernon on April 25, requesting a written explanation and the legal authority under which the signs were removed. The letter pointed to Section 2.1 of the Representation of the People Amendment Act 2016, which defines the campaign period, which started on March 7. It also noted that a general election is due by September. That request was backed by a letter from Electoral Commission of Jamaica Chairman Earl Jarrett, whose office assumed the ombudsman role in 2024. But in a response dated May 14, Vernon's attorney, Rose Bennett Cooper, rejected the request, saying he could not determine the legal basis on which the ombudsman had sought an explanation. The lawyer insisted the corporation was not a political body and was carrying out its lawful duties under the Town and Country Planning Control of Advertisements Regulations of 1978. Constitutional lawyer Dr. Lloyd Barnett has described the corporation's stance as legally unsound, noting that the planning law barely addresses temporary posters and that political advertisements are allowed without municipal approval during the campaign. He also said Vernon has a duty to respond to the ombudsman and that any restriction must follow due process. Golden, eager for election, renews a call for Chung to step aside from FID. President of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, says Prime Minister Andrew Holness is delaying announcing the date for the next general election because he is worried that the PNP will be victorious at the polls. The parliamentary general election is constitutionally due by September this year.
And we can see that the government is afraid of the people because the 5 years at the end of which Parliament will dissolve automatically under the Constitution is almost upon us. And yet they are still unable to call it because they know that if they call it, the day of reckoning will be there upon them, and the government of this country will change, and the People's National Party will come back to lead this country forward into the future. It is a complete undermining of proper governance and democratic principles of transparency and accountability, and we will continue to resist it. This cannot go forward. And I say to Dennis Strong himself, who is somebody I've known for many years, step back from it, Dennis. Clear the air and let the Financial Investigations Division be led by somebody who does not have those issues to deal with, because you are not the right person at this time. You are not fit and proper to lead that agency, given the clear bias that you have showed in relation to the major issue that it has tasked to deal with, and also the fact that your qualifications are not suitable to hold that position.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.